whole life I've just kind of felt a little off. I find myself like getting into these patterns of like behavior or thought. It's like walking over into the corner and going, I'm just gonna lay down here and just die. This is like a bad neighborhood, you know what I mean? And I should not go walking alone. There's like things that you need to do in order to get out of it, or else you won't, and you're just in it. But I've also never liked being anything. I want to be happy, but when I'm in it, I try to get out of it. I don't like being sad. When I'm in it, I want to get out of it. I've never been comfortable just being. Once you acknowledge what it is, you can separate yourself from it and do something about it, as opposed to just being in it. And once I realized that, like, you know, I just want to be able to feel the full spectrum of life, all the good stuff and the bad stuff, and be okay with it.
I want you guys to take a moment to appreciate what you've got and make Chester proud. Thank you guys so much.
Today, we remember Chester Bennington, the iconic voice of Linkin Park, a gifted artist and a beacon of hope. His music resonated with millions, with chart-topping albums like Hybrid Theory and Meteora. Linkin Park's music touched the hearts of millions, leaving a memorable mark on the rock and alternative music scene. But behind the fame, Chester had many struggles in life. His openness about mental health sparked crucial conversations and shattered stigmas. Let's hear it from Chester himself in this profound interview.
There's so many circumstances that for me that relate to this situation, but like, and so for me, it's like, that was kind of where I don't like my mind right now, stacking up problems that are so unnecessary. You know, that's where that was where that came from for me. And but it's the moment where it's like, realizing like, I drive myself nuts, like actually thinking that like all these are real problems. Like all the stuff that's going on in here is actually just, I'm doing this to myself. And regardless of whatever that thing is. And so this is that like conscious awareness of that thing. And like when you can step back and look at something, like you're actually elevating yourself consciously. Like you're enlightened at that point, right, to a certain degree. And so this is that moment of enlightenment where you go, you know, I could do something about this, and by doing it, I can move forward and get unstuck from this, and then I could actually be able to, for me, it's like I can live with life on life's terms. Like I can experience the whole spectrum of humanity and not want to get out of it, whether it's happiness, sadness, or whatever. Like I just want to, like when I'm in it, I just want to get out of however I'm feeling, no matter what it is.
So when you wrote this song, you were clearly in that bad neighborhood in your brain.
This time last year, I was a mess. Like a total wreck, you know? And like, I think for a lot of people, they think like if you're successful, like all of a sudden, like you get like you get like some card in the mail that says like, you're going to be totally satisfied and happy for the rest of your life. It doesn't happen like that. Like life for me happens the way it always, the only difference is I'm in Linkin Park. Like what goes on inside my head, it's always been this way for me. So when I'm not working on that, like my life gets messy. And that's kind of how the inspiration for all these songs came from, conversations about life and what was going on as friends, as husbands, as fathers, as, you know, whatever, business partners. Like we were all talking about what was going on in all aspects of our lives at certain times throughout the process of this record. And we realized like, man, we've all gone through like some really crazy stuff, and we don't need to find the source of inspiration. Like, what's this record about? Like, this is our life. You know, we always have written about our lives, and like that should just be enough. We don't need to find some new thing. Like life is always throwing these like curveballs at you, whether they're good or bad. Like it just happens. And eventually what I found is, especially with the bad stuff, because that's the stuff that I kind of that's the stuff that sticks to me a little bit more, coming out at the other side and being like, man, I'm a better person because of that. Or I'm more compassionate because of that. Or, I can understand, I feel like I can understand people or humanity a little bit differently because I've been through some pretty crazy stuff. And that's a positive. So finding the positive in all these things, that's what we always try to do, but we still talk about the feelings we had going through all these different circumstances.
In both his art and interviews, Chester uses tangible examples from his life to demonstrate how he copes with difficult feelings. Fatherhood, for example, has impacted his outlook on life.
Life is so weird.
Yeah.
I mean, there are like periods of time where I feel like I've got it, like all my stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and then there are periods of time where I'm just like, I am such a failure at everything, and I just like, I can't do anything right. Like, I'm a horrible dad, I'm a horrible husband. I'm just like, ugh. And it's funny, but like, this is what's great about being a dad.
Yeah.
Is like when you're around your kids, like none of that stuff matters. Talk to my kid about his feelings and stuff, and like we've been counting our blessings at night, and it's like little things like
actually,
that.
like trying to record
he's
your.
like, it was like one day he was like, Dad, you ever just like had a day where like even though you should be happy, like everything's just bad? And I'm just like, yeah, buddy, I have. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm having one of those days. And I was like, well, let's focus on like, maybe we should think about all the things that we do have.
Right.
That it's really great. Because sometimes we get caught up on the one thing that's bad. It's like, I'm the kind of guy, this is me on stage. There's 30,000 people like going up, going, yeah. And I see the one dude who's just like, I hate you.
But,
and I'm like, why? And I have to, and all my attention goes to that one little flaw.
Yeah.
And like there's all this great stuff going on, and like I'm not even paying attention to all
But
the
I
great
think a lot
stuff. As a competitive person, I see the person in the crowd and I go, why aren't you liking this? And what do I have to do?
Yeah.
And how do I win?
Yeah.
Right. And but when you do that with everything else in life, it's not really.
You can't
that
be
cool.
that way with it.
So it's really strange. But something as simple as going, man, I know you really wanted that balloon and it popped, but there's a whole bag over here that's like of balloons that you can have, and it's like we start talking like that with your kids, they start to realize like, okay, there's other things, and and all of a sudden, like next thing you know, like every night we're counting our blessings, and it helps you. It's really caused me to kind of look at life a little differently, because I'm kind of focused on these like very specific problems, and I kind of and those become everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun to be a dad and just kind of like remove yourself from that and just focus on your kids, and somehow it relates to the things that go on in your own life, and kind of like fathering yourself or kind of like raising yourself with your kids.
Counting blessings with family is a great example of how perspective can get us through hard times. Here, he shares another insightful example of how perspective can shape our reality.
Perspective is everything, and it's the difference between going through an ordeal or going through an adventure.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you can have two people experiencing the exact same thing, going out on jet skis in the ocean, and all of a sudden it goes from a sunny day to a crazy stormy day, and they come in and one person says it was the worst day of my life and I never want to experience that again, and another guy's like, that was the best, like I can't wait to do that again.
Yeah. I'll never have a jet ski trip that was as exciting as that.
Chester is clearly very knowledgeable about different coping mechanisms and techniques to deal with life's hardships. Despite this, he still can sometimes fall into mental hardship, creating a habit of evaluating his thoughts and checking in with himself had been able to pull him out of the times he did fall into depressive patterns.
I tend to have a hard time with life on life's terms, like I am uncomfortable in all scenarios. Like if I'm happy, I want to get out of it. If I'm sad, I want to get out of it. If I'm just like blah, I want to get out of it. And so
where are you
that's
comfortable?
what I work at. Well, I'm comfortable. I have to do a constant evaluation and work. Like I've got to always be on my toes and like stay ahead of the beast,
right.
you know? And if I do that and I'm helping other people and I'm being of service to people and I'm productive with my job and I'm helping my family and my wife and I'm being a good husband, like if I'm not sitting in, like someone said this is a bad neighborhood, like this is a bad neighborhood for me, right? And so I try to get out of there as much as possible. And when I'm doing that, I tend to be pretty good.
Chester clearly has many knowledgeable insights on life, but how did they tie into his song lyrics?
Like in Heavy, for example, that song's about being, you know, stuck in a pattern of behavior or a pattern of thought. It's like this I don't know about you guys, but most of my suffering comes from what happens inside my head. It has nothing to do with anything else, you know? And, you know, nobody can save me. Obviously, the title says it all. You know, there's all these different songs about this struggle, and I think Battle Symphony, at least for me, is the track where it's like, you know what, life is tough, and like I don't have all the answers, but and I'm kind of broken, but I'm gonna pick the pieces up, and I'm gonna put them back together, and I'm gonna fight. You know, I'm gonna fight for my sanity, for my relationships, for my lust for life, for, you know, just anything, like being able to take on life on life's terms, and that's for me, that's what that song kind of represents.
In July 2017, Chester's life came to an end. He will continue to inspire generations through his music and intellect. His voice may be gone, but his impact lives on. Rest in peace, Chester Bennington.